Argentina is rich in football history, having won three World Cups, making them the fourth most successful nation of all time. Furthermore, half of the quartet of players, most often regarded as the greatest of all time, hail from the country, and the country's third World Cup may have finally sent Lionel Andreas Messi clear of his perennial rival Cristiano Ronaldo as the outright GOAT. But that's a debate for another time. Below all the medals and victories is one of the most violent football cultures in the world. In the last half century, 305 people have been killed as a result of football related violence. Many of these have come at the hands of the country's Barra Bravas, Latin America's equivalent to European football hooligans. These gangs originated in the late 1920s, with their name, Barra Brava, being derived from the Spanish word for fierce. The aim of these early hooligans was not to cause violence, but to intimidate the opposition through chanting and missile throwing. Incidents between rival fan groups were less prevalent, as it was hard to follow teams to away games en masse. This changed in the mid-1950s. Teams saw the benefit these fan groups gave them and decided to pay them to attend all away games too. This resulted in much higher volumes of violence between rival Imbara Bravas, as well as clashes with the police who tried to stem the violence. Rioting at football games got mainstream media attention in 1958 when an 18-year-old fan died after being hit in the head at close range with a tear gas grenade fired by the police trying to disperse the crowd. Ironically, at this point, supporter groups themselves refused to acknowledge they were part of such groups. Under Argentina's penal code, doing so would increase punishments for any crimes they committed. Some of the worst instances of football-related violence in Argentina include the shooting of referee Cesar Flores and Walter Zarate after the former sent off a player for foul play on the latter. Flores died after suffering shots to the neck, head and chest. The murder of Emmanuel Balbo, who was beaten and thrown off a stand for supposedly supporting a rival team at a previous match, and the attempted murder of referee Osvaldo Casio after he disallowed a late winner. Fans hit him and tried to hang him with his own belt. And this is all before we've got to the history of violence in the country's biggest derby. Skip forward to 2018, and the still thriving hooliganism culture made global headlines. The final of South America's showpiece tournament, the Copa Libertadores, was to be contested between the two biggest Argentinian teams, who combine for 70% of the country's supporter base, Boca Juniors and River Plate. To add to this humongous tension that comes with this rivalry, it was the first time a Super Classico, the name given to the derby between the two sides, was to be played at a major continental final. However, the second leg of this historic match was postponed and eventually played thousands of miles away in Spain after the Boca team bus was attacked by River fans en route to the stadium, injuring two players while the others suffered effects caused by tear gas fired by the police to disperse the crowd. The bus driver was also rendered unconscious by the attack, and the bus had to be driven by Boca vice president Jorge Amor Amial. Rumours as why this occurred include Barra Bravas getting revenge on the police to embarrassing the country's president, but to this day none have been confirmed. Riots also ensued a month later when River Plate won the rescheduled match in Madrid. This certainly wasn't the first time violence had marred this derby. In 2015, Boca Juniors were expelled from the same competition at the round of 16 stage when River Plate players were sprayed with an irritant while entering the pitch. 70 years prior, 74 people died in a stadium crush, with the cause never determined. The question for Argentinian authorities is why are they unable to eradicate this? Yes, the Superclásico is a rivalry that has spanned more than a century and is often ranked the most bitter on the globe, with deeply entrenched class divides between the two sides. But matches of similar magnitude seem to be much better contained in all European football powerhouses, perhaps other than France. Barra Bravas are no longer necessary as a tactic to be employed by teams to improve results, yet they still are, and even running food stalls and parket rackets outside of stadiums. There have been some measures put in place. Away fans have been banned since 2015, but unlike England in the 1980s, there is less political will to eradicate hooliganism, potentially due to the grip Barra Bravas have over politics too. Government figures are known to employ them to cause chaos at political rallies. There was even a government-sponsored trip to the 2010 World Cup for the Barras, with them being described as good lads by the then president.